Welcome back to Girl Boss. I am back. And today I'm talking about the season of Geb, because that's the season that we're in right now. The season of Geb occurs from the 20th of February until the fall or autumn equinox, which is on the 20th of March. Geb is essentially the ancestral father of Egyptian civilization. In Kemetic history, he's known as the god of the earth, the physical support of the world. For those of you interested in tarot, he's represented in the tarot deck by the entire suit of pentacles or coins, because that is the suit that represents everything material and physical. Our Kemetic ancestors refer to him as the custodian of the land. Geb is the male counterpart to the goddess Nut, so he's essentially the brother slash husband of the sky goddess. He's part of the second generation of the Ennead of Heliopolis in the Kemetic story of creation. In Egyptian depictions of Geb, he's often laying underneath Nut, the sky goddess, just as the earth is positioned underneath the sky. A lot of the deities within this family of gods is depicted often with the head of an animal, but Geb was always depicted in a form that reflected man entirely, with a goose positioned on top of his head. The goose was also the hieroglyph of his name inside the temples of Kemet. Geb was often associated with royalty. Pharaohs often claimed to be descendants of Geb, and the royal throne was often referred to as the throne of Geb. To put it in more mainstream terms, Geb season is essentially Virgo season, which we're in here in the Southern Hemisphere. Currently, at the time of filming this, the full moon is in Virgo, and we're approaching the autumn equinox, which means that the Northern Hemisphere is approaching their spring equinox, their true new year, which is their Aries season, their season of Asa, the green god of renewal, which is what we celebrate in September. I don't want to get into it again because I've already spoken about it in past videos about how our New Year is in September and the New Year in the Northern Hemisphere is in March. As nature in the Northern Hemisphere prepares for renewal, nature in the Southern Hemisphere prepares for winter and the phase of mourning the departure of the sun, of Asa. This is what occurs during the autumn equinox. I explained more about that in the autumn equinox video. Basically, the significance of all of this stems from the fact that the foundation of our spirituality as African people is solar worship. Not just worshiping the sun, but tracking it, observing it, understanding its movements and how it affects us. Our ancestors lived their lives according to the movements of the sun. Our ancestors studied astronomy and they lived their lives in alignment with whatever was happening astrologically. So the movement of the sun, the movement of the moon, the stars, the planets. The sun was the center of the spiritual system. A lot of monuments were built to track the movement of the sun, and they aligned with however it would affect nature and as a consequence affect them as extensions of nature. And that fueled them, it gave them power, and that's how they were able to do all the amazing things that they did, such as build the Great Pyramids of Giza, which is also why it was so important for colonizers to eradicate our history and our culture. So I think at some point I'm gonna have to do a video on the African calendar and how it works, how the seasons work. It's really important to understand how that works according to the original Kemetic study of astronomy, astrology, and the philosophy behind it. But for now, we're just going to talk about this season, what the season is, what it means, and how it works. And then I'll do a separate video on how the calendar works, because it's not... The structure of it is different to what we're used to. It's a circle. The term, the circle of life, comes from the cyclical nature of our spiritual system. The cycle of death and rebirth is reflected in our calendar, and it is reflected in every season of the year. So what we think of as months were originally referred to as seasons, and astrology is the foundation of those seasons. Our measurement of time was based on astrology. Astrology is the original study. So when I talk about the season of Geb, I'm talking about the season of Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Geb is the god of the earth. Virgo is associated with the color brown and other earthy colors. The color of the season of Geb is brown. So when you look into what Virgo season is about, there are a lot of correlations to Geb as a deity because he is the original study of this time period. Virgo is associated with Mercury, which mainly rules our ways of thinking and communicating, making Mercury a really good planet to pay attention to in this time because it affects our behaviors and manifestation, especially in this time period, which is really focused on the work that you're putting in to your passion, your occupation, whatever you're investing in, whatever it is that you want to manifest for yourself. Because Geb is primarily the neter of harvest. Neter is the Kemetic word for God. Geb is the neter of harvest. He ensures a continual supply for the home and for your business. This season was known in Kemet to be a very favorable time for artisans, creators, people who build, work with their hands, woodworkers, crafts workers. This was a period of creation because his principle is creation. Geb in the creation story is one of the fabricators of human form. So he helped to basically fashion and design the human form. So he is partially responsible for our human form, the way that we look. And in Kemet, he was often called upon by healers to aid in the healing of matters of physical health, physical defects, anything concerning the physical body. He was also called upon in times of dispute, anytime friends or family were in dispute over money, land, livestock. He was called upon to resolve those kinds of disputes because he rules the physical, he rules the material. And one of the spiritual components of this deity was ensuring that everybody was fairly compensated. They referred to him as patron of judges and mediators because he was one of the gods that would often settle the disputes between Heru and Set, one of the biggest rivalries in the Kemetic spiritual system. So this is a really good season to settle family disputes, to do family counseling, for negotiations. And because he's so high functioning in the material realm, this is a really great time to set intentions, long-term intentions concerning the home, concerning land, concerning investments, business plans. The natural energy of the season really supports whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in the material realm. The influence of Geb is in the best interest of yielding the results of the work that you put in. So the priority for this season is your home, your business, your career, whatever provides safety and security for you and your family. So a lot of our focus will naturally gravitate towards maximizing on that this season, making sure that you have a solid foundation, that the people that you care most about are all set, that there's harmony in the family, and the future is as secure as possible for yourself and those that you love most. And I repeat, this is a really good time for those of you who make things with your hands, who make things from scratch. This is the season of artisans, of creators, builders, farmers, people who cultivate the land. The animal for this season, because every deity has an animal totem, so the animal totem for this season is the goose, the duck, and the lizard. The crystal for this season is amber. Ooh, I don't have one. I haven't been to the crystal store in a while, so that's kind of a bummer. But the next time I go, I'm gonna grab one. The color of the season, like I said, is brown, and just general earth colors are really good for tapping into the energy of this season. The metal for this season is bronze. This being the season of artisans, bronze was very popular in this season in Kemet. It was used to create tools, weapons, ornamental doors for temples, shrines, offering tables. The incense for this season is patchouli. I love patchouli. It's a personal favorite of mine. In many spiritual cultures, patchouli is associated with the element of earth. In this day and age, it's mainly used for money manifestation rituals and fertility rituals. And also because it's an aphrodisiac, it can be used to attract love. Basil leaves and branches from avocado trees are also really good for tapping into the energy of the season. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I see the subscribers have really grown since the last time I posted a video. I really, really appreciate it. Also appreciate all the love. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the messages. I see you guys. And because I'm back in the flow of things, I'm going to be getting back to your messages. I'm going to be replying. And I just really appreciate it. And I thank you so much for the love and the support. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. And take care of yourselves, guys.